welcome to In the Kitchen with Natasha. Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for Trinidad doubles. It's a very popular street food in Trinidad. You can get it anywhere now. So the things you'll need to make this recipe are, you're going to need some warm water, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or saffron, a tablespoon of yeast. That's going to make the dough. You're going to need a pot with some oil to fry, and you're also going to need a Styrotex container or something that when you put the doubles in, the steam will keep that Bara nice and soft. If you just put it in a normal container, it's going to dry out on you and get hard and stiff. So you want to make sure you get something airtight that will keep that steam in and keep those Baras soft. After we're finished with this, then I'll move on to showing you how to make the filling, which is the channa. So let's get started on kneading the flour for the Bara. So add your yeast, salt, and turmeric powder to your flour, and you're going to knead this to create a soft dough. So mix everything in and then knead this to create that soft dough. The warm water is going to help activate that yeast and help the dough to rise. When you finish knead your dough, you're going to set it aside and cover it and allow it to rise. Let that yeast activate and let it proof. So I'm going to cover mine, but before I cover it, let me just show you. My dough is nice and soft. You don't want a hard dough. It's really soft, as you can see. So just leave this to proof and I'll come back and show you how we go ahead and make the Bara. So next step is to make the channa for the Bara. So now we're going to move on to making the channa filling for the doubles. I have 2 cups of channa that I soaked overnight. I used the small grain channa. If you have the big one, that's okay. I have about a half a cup of chopped onion, 1 tablespoon of mild curry powder, a tablespoon of minced bandanya, a tablespoon of garlic, and about half of a teaspoon or less of geera powder. And you're going to need some salt to season. You're going to put up your pot with about a teaspoon of vegetable oil to heat up, and you're going to need a little bit of water to help fry that curry. So let's get started on seasoning our channa and then cooking it. Okay, so you want to set the geera aside because this will go in the channa when it's finished cooking, and the curry is to fry. So all that's going in the channa is your garlic, your onions, and your bandanya. And you're going to season this with salt to taste. Mix. And now we're going to move on to frying the curry to cook the channa in. So just go ahead and add your tablespoon of curry into your oil and allow that to fry on low heat for about 5 minutes. Okay, when your curry is finished frying, add a little bit of water. Raise the heat a little because you want to have that curry cook a little further. So just let this cook for another minute and then we'll add in the channa. Now go ahead and add in your channa that you seasoned. Add some water to the bowl and set it aside because you want to keep all that seasoning that you have in here. So let this fry up a little, and then we'll add some water to cook that channa. Once your channa has fried up a little and it starts to stick, you're going to go ahead and add in your liquid. And you're going to allow this to come up to a boil, and once it does, you're going to knock that heat back to medium and let it cook until the channa is nice and soft. So my Bara flour is ready. You're going to put up your oil on low for now, because I like to open out enough before I start frying. If you have help, you can open and fry. But if you don't, you're going to have to open them out, lay them out, and then pick them up and fry them. So while your oil is on low, you're going to make the bars. So I like to put a little bit of oil in my hands because they tend to stick. And I also oil the surface where I'm going to rest them on, because they would stick to the surface if you don't oil it. And I like to go ahead by making little balls. So that when I start, it's easier. So when I start to open them out, I wouldn't have to do this. Just take small amounts. So I'm going to continue making my balls, and then I'll see you back in a little. Okay, once you've made your balls, you're going to put a little bit of oil on your hands because these tend to stick. And if you can open it out in your hands, that's good. I'm going to try. Or if you want, you can grease your surface and try to open it out on your surface. And then you drop it into your hot oil. Now these don't take very long to fry. So just flip it around and it will be done. It doesn't take long because the flour is very thin, and then you... So I'm going to continue frying my doubles. I think it's easier to put it on the oiled surface and open it out. If you're not a professional to do it using your hands, it's going to be very difficult to do it with your hands. So I've finished frying out my doubles. This is how it looks. So you want to cover it because that steam is what's going to keep the doubles nice and soft. So while my doubles sit here and soften up, my channa would be ready. And then we'll go ahead on to making our doubles. When your channa has softened up, you're going to take your dal gutni. If you don't have this, you can use a potato masher, and you're just going to mash this up a little. When you mash this up, that is what's going to help the channa to thicken. Once your channa has thickened up, you can go ahead and add in your geera. You can take it off. Just mix in that geera. Make sure and taste it for salt. So mine has enough salt. I'm going to set it aside for a little and let it cool, and then we'll move on onto wrapping our doubles. Okay, so now I'm going to get ready to wrap my doubles. So what you want to do is create an assembly line. You want to put your channa, your tamarind chutney, or whatever chutney you're going to use, and I have here some cucumber chutney. I will leave the link for the cucumber and the tamarind down below in the description box. In the cooler here I have my doubles. So let's get started on wrapping our doubles. And it has stayed really soft and nice. So this is how I do it at home. So you just get rid of some of the paper. So you're going to use a wax paper. You're going to put your channa, your tamarind, and a little bit of your cucumber chutney. And you're going to wrap this up like this. And here we have one doubles. So this is what we call doubles. I hope you guys try this recipe, make it, let me know if you like it. It's really delicious. This is just the way I make it. I'm not a professional, but I try my best. And if you do what I say, it's gonna come up pretty well. So enjoy, and I'll see you guys another day with another one of my recipes.